Today is the day that I stop ducking the question, you might say. Today is the day that I ride the Ducati Multistrada V4S. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. So, as you know, I'm on this journey to either stick with my Harley Davidson and put a few thousand towards it to upstage it, let's say, or go for another motorcycle that's going to suit my needs. Now, I'm looking for something that's really great for commuting, but also great for short distance, long distance riding, but also great for touring as well. Two-up riding, solo riding. I want something with a bit of power. If I'm going to move away from a Harley, I want something with a bit of power. I've ridden Ducatis in the past, but never owned one. And coming from an Italian background, it's a bit of a sin, really. But anyway, I've also said that I've never really been that keen on Ducatis. But as I'm trying to cover all bases here before I go for my next bike, I've thought I really need to try this bike. I really need to try it and try it out properly and to see what it's like. And oh my word, what an absolute beast, a weapon machine this is. Unbelievable. That engine, that V4 engine, is so powerful. It's unbelievable. It belongs, that engine, that bike is not right. That bike is not right. Well, it is right, but it's not right. It's a sports bike, really. That engine is just so powerful. It's a sports bike. Now, you've got different versions of the Ducati V4 Multistrada. You've got the V4S, you've got electronic suspension and everything, and you've got different variations of that. Now, you've got the V4 Rally, which is the kind of off-road variant, the more suitable for off-road riding, if you're really going to take them off-road, you know, serious off-road, that is. And then you've got the Multistrada Tour now, which they bought for 2024. But this is pretty much that, you know, it's got the boxes, the panniers, the top box on the back. They will fit full-size helmets in on the left side pannier, not the right side pannier, because you've got the exhaust there. It's got quick shifter on here, and it's silky smooth quick shifter as well. Really, really nice. But here's another thing. The other thing on this bike is that gear changing, when you're not using the quick shifter, is silky smooth as well. It's absolutely lovely. When I've ridden some other bikes recently, that's not the case. It's actually really snappy with gear changing, whereas this is just beautiful. The way this rides and the power delivery is just insanely smooth, but it's eye-watering at the same time. It's just amazing. I mean, just look at it as well. It looks beautiful as well. Just the colors just make it sound, look at me, I'm Italian, I'm a Ducati. You know, it says it already, doesn't it? You know, bright red bike with some white accents, lots of black on it. It just looks the part, and it stands out from the crowd. When I test rode the KTM Super Adventure S, I said amazing bike, really great. And in sport mode, I said that is an absolute hooligan. But I think I also said, or certainly felt at the time, that the suspension matched with that sport mode was just a little bit rough. However, this in sport mode is just equally, if not even more so, of a powerful machine. But the suspension on it is just so silky smooth on it as well. So here's where I'm at. Great touring bike, great power, touring option, heated seats, heated grips, all that kind of stuff. The top box on the back, great for touring, great to have my missus on the back. Brilliant. But there's a problem. The problem is cost. The cost of these brand new, we're talking, you know, 22, 23, whatever it is, you know, you can go up and up and up, of course, with any motorcycle. This is true, of course, when you start adding features to it. However, the used bike value Now that's a different story. They hold their value really well. The Ducati Multistrada has not changed in terms of tech for the last couple of years. So you could buy a 2021 bike and get exactly the same features as a 2023 or 2024. Okay, what does this mean for me? So basically I can get one of these, a couple of years old, 10,000 miles on the clock for about 16 odd thousand pounds. That's pretty much just a little bit more than the value of my bike, and plus if I put another 4,000 or 5,000 pounds into it, which I would be spending on my Harley anyway. And this is what I've said, this has always been the rationale which I'm trying to make. What's the value of my bike and the money I'm going to spend on it, as opposed to what can I buy for that total money? And this is what I can get, which is just leap years ahead of what I'm riding now in terms of riding feeling, in terms of performance riding, in terms of specification, in terms of everything on it. It's just brilliant. When it's idling, it sounds a bit clunky, but that's Ducatis for you. They've got that kind of clunky, rattly feeling about it. But then as soon as you twist the throttle, that all disappears and you're riding along and it's just immense. The V4S also comes with a radar version now, which is basically the adaptive cruise control as well. Of course, that's only important if you really want that feature. Now, Harley-Davidson Pan America and the Triumph also have that adaptive rider height system, which lowers the seating. This doesn't have the automatic version. This has a manual version. You press and hold the suspension button on it, and it just lowers the suspension, the preload. So when you're coming into slower speed riding, or you feel that you're going to have to put your foot down, you can just lower it. Then as soon as you open the throttle and ping it, it just automatically adjusts itself back to normal suspension settings. For a taller rider, I just don't think you need it, and I certainly don't need it on this. But for a shorter rider, yeah, maybe it's a good feature. The great thing is, because it's manual, you decide when you want it and when you don't want it, as opposed to either having on auto setting, let's say with the Pan America or with the Triumph, or you have to switch it off. You know, there may be some manual adjustments now, but this is just manual. It's simple and it works great if you're going to use it. If there was any kind of metric to show you guys watching this video how good this is, or tell you how good this is, let me tell you a little bit about how I've been riding this bike and what my experience of it has been. I know on the open road it's going to be great, it's absolutely fine, and it has been, but just on the back roads, and it's been a crappy morning this morning, lots of wet roads and mud on the roads as well. It's been flawless. Been going around the bends, beautiful, slick. The upright riding position, you command in the road, great view of the road. It's just silky smooth. As I said, the power delivery is just awesome, whether it's on touring mode or whether it's on sport mode. Just insane, right? Lovely, brilliant bike to ride. You cannot stop giving it compliments, right? But ignore anything that I've just said, right, about how good this is. This is the test, this is the metric for you. Usually what happens is, when I've been doing these videos, is that I ride the bike for 40 minutes, something like that, get off, and then I think, yeah, I'll definitely do the video now. But most of the time, it's like after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I think, yeah, I'll just do the video. With this, I did not want to make the video. I just wanted to keep on riding it. And that tells me how good that is. That bike just wants to be ridden, and you want to keep on riding it. You don't want to stop off. You don't want to stop off to get petrol, make stupid videos, or, you know, see your friends, or, you know, go home or whatever. You just want to keep on riding it, and that's it. That's how good it is. You just want to keep on riding it. I've never been the greatest fan of Ducati in terms of their bikes, not because I thought they were bad bikes or anything like that, far from it, and not because I've got anything against Ducati as well, because far from it. I think they're a great company. It's just, I've always thought, I've had this thing that, you know, Italian bikes, I always question the reliability of them and everything, and possibly there's still a little bit of that in me as well. But there's no doubt they are fantastic. There is no doubt that these bikes, and especially for me, where I would say this is just purely for the road, you're never going to take these off-road, surely. You know, not serious off-road. Yeah, farm trails, tracks, that kind of thing, hard stuff, but never serious off-road. And that's what I've always said. Big ADVs, no, not serious off-road. You know, farm tracks, to say dry trails, fine, but they're for the road. road, long distance riding, great riding, and maybe a bit of minor off-road if you want to. But that bike, I could just go long distance, short distance, be really comfortable all year round. I don't have all the radio, don't have all that nonsense to contend with. Just a brilliant bike, brilliant ride. And I wanted to keep on riding it, and that's it. So where am I with it? Can I see myself on it? Yeah, absolutely. Can I see myself on a brand new one? No, because I can't afford it. That's the simple truth. And there's no point in me trying to say, oh yeah, I'm going to be riding this bike. No, because it's too expensive. Even that bike there, it's right at the edge of my limit. It's probably a little bit too much above my limit. So if I could find something that's got low mileage and maybe for a couple of grand less, I think we got a winner. I think this is where we're at. But it's whether I can find something. Now, because it's not just for me, it's also to get my missus on the back as well. I want to see what she feels about it. These are the questions you got to ask yourself. These are the questions that, am I riding it? Am I getting my missus on the back? Am I going for touring? How does it fulfill? Does it tick all those boxes? And for the most part, in terms of enjoyment, solo riding, enjoyment, fun, power, rideability, this is probably the best bike. I don't think it's the best value. You know, I think other bikes are a better value, but if you can afford it, if you can stretch to it, this is it. So, is this the bike for me? I'm so tempted. So tempted. There have been a few bikes now that I think, wow. And I've been thinking, is an ADV bike really for me? And this is where I kind of put the Multistrada apart from the ADVs, right? Because it's so much more than an ADV. It's so much more powerful. It's so much more of a sports bike in an ADV frame. It's just insane. If you've never ridden one, just try and ride one. Honestly, they are fantastic bikes. Now, whether the style is to your liking, all that sort of stuff, that's a separate issue, of course. And I'm not sure whether I want to go the ADV route or this style anymore, or whether I want to go for just a proper touring function. But overall, brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Now, I just think that this bike is just a bit too expensive for me as it is. And I think this is where I'm at. If I'm looking at these bikes, they've got to be quality used bikes, low mileage, but maybe coming in just a couple of grand less. And I think that's realistically where I am, because I've just had the shock of what my Harley might be valued at as well, and it ain't good. And it ain't good either. All I can say is go test ride it. Amazing. I'm so impressed. So impressed. So amazed by how good this is. And as an overall package, as I've always known about Ducatis, an overall riding experience, the Ducatis are right up there at the top, right up there at the very top. Anyway, on to the next bike, I reckon. But listen, the Ducati Multistrada V4S, what a machine, what a delight, what a delight this bike is. Catch you again. Bye now.